Yeah, yeah, wouldn't ends. We back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight. Got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve. Your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in the youth effect. We're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard.
And it's another Monday. Thank you so much for being here with us. I miss you guys. And thank you for missing me too from all reports. We got a good thing going here and we're going to continue into our next season. Why do I say that? Because today is our season 2 finale. And for those of you who've been with us from the beginning, thank you so much for your support. Today, June 22nd, 2026, we're having our season 2 finale. And this season, what did we learn? We learned that a glow is not something you find, it is something you create. We explored the hidden battles behind behavior, the courage it takes to protect mental health, and the friendships that carry us through life's changing seasons. We listened to young voices who dared to write their stories before the world told them how they should end. We sat with families facing illness, held space for holiday sadness, and discovered that success often begins with the small choices made before the sun rises. We learned that intentional parenting plants seeds whose shade future generations will enjoy. Or I should say, our present generations, because they are our present. And we went ahead and we challenged main character syndrome and discovered that true leadership is not about being the star of every scene, but about helping others find their place in the story. We explored the realities of Caribbean youth mental health, substance abuse or substance use, and emotional distress, reminding ourselves that healing begins when conversations become safe enough for truth. And here we are, 16 episodes later, and one message remains: your story, my story, all of us stories, they are still being written. No matter your chapter, your challenge, your setback, or your success, keep turning the page. The world needs the light only you can bring. And so we go into today's topic, which says the story continues, turning pages, building legacy, and becoming who you're meant to be. A lot of times I've heard people speak to me on, I'm finding myself. You're not finding yourself, you're just taking out the layers of all the baggage that life has put on to us. And we are always the same who we are from birth. It's within us. So tonight we'll be reflecting, excuse me, on resilience, on growth, purpose, and the impact of intentional living. Where every episode was a chapter, and tonight we celebrate the story and the storyteller. You. We are all storytellers of our lives, and how you choose to tell it is entirely up to you. And again, I'm going to say good evening and welcome to the season finale of The Youth Effect. You know, at The Youth Effect, we allow the young voices to explore and to give them a platform for them to voice the expressions of themselves, where they can navigate the world in collaboration with us, the older persons, and bridge the gap between our generations. And over the last 16 episodes, we laughed together, We learned together, and sometimes we cried together. Well, even though they were not physical tears, but our hearts spoke together, especially when we spoke to cancer survivors, and when we spoke about the substance abuse. These were very, very touching for me. We've talked about mental health. We spoke with regards again to friendship and parenting, success, resilience, youth leadership, grief, healing, storytelling, and finding purpose. But if there is one lesson that connects every conversation we've had this season, it is this: life is not about waiting for the perfect chapter or for the perfect time. It's about learning how to write the next one. Tonight isn't about endings, it's about continuation. Because every young person listening right now is still becoming. Every parent is still learning. Every educator is still growing. And every community is still being built. And every one of our stories is still unfolding. Let's think about this for a minute. If your life was a book, what would the title of your current chapter be? You can text it, you can send it to us, you can put it up on we'll put it up on our screen, but let us know, what would your chapter be, the title of that chapter. Remember, you are listening to us on Facebook, on Instagram, on SBE Radio, as well as on YouTube and all other platforms. I want to thank you. And on these platforms, you can post, what would the title of your current chapter be? For me, it would be my evolution. Evolution, would that be the best thing to say? Yes. Because so many things are happening that I feel like the butterfly, coming off from the cocoon, and like a life cycle. So for me, yeah, it would be my metamorphosis. That's what it is. Metamorphosis. That is definitely what I would call it. What about you? Take a deep, deep look inside you and write it down somewhere and use it as something to meditate on, and deeply reflect on what would that title of your chapter be today. Whatever you're going through, your experiences, just write it down. Okay? Some lessons that we learned from the season in a little bit more in depth. We will review some key themes. We spoke about creating your glow. When Shania showed us how to do this makeup and everything else, and how we can stride in confidence in stuff that may not be our usual thing, but we can do something different and step out. And from that, we learned that confidence is cultivated, not discovered. Okay, sometimes we say you're naturally confident. No, confidence is something that you build. That is something that you work on. They say there is something they say, fake it until you make it. In some circumstances, it is not appropriate, it's not relevant, but a lot of times, yeah, fake it till you make it. Cultivate your confidence, because it's not discovered, it's not hiding under a rock somewhere that you have to lift. No, you build it from inside out, and you have to believe in yourself. We also learned about mental health and student behavior when we had Shad and excuse me, and Jillian speak to us about the behavior in school of children, and that, as well as children on the autistic spectrum. And we understand that behavior is communication. When a child is lashing out or being disrespectful, or they say, oh, we just dismiss them. But the deeper question is, what is going on behind the scenes? What is not being said? And in all of that, we have to pay attention, what we call attentive listening, and really observe. We listen with our eyes, with our ears, with our touch, with all our cognitive senses, all right? And try to understand why our children or that particular child is behaving the way they are. And we have to listen without speaking. We have to listen to understand, not listen to reply. We learned about lifelong friendships when Avril came on and shared all our secrets. And we learned that relationships are one of life's greatest protective factors. They carry us like the wings. They embrace us in the times when we need that safety zone. Yeah? Lifelong relationships. And it's never too late to start a relationship. The quality of a relationship, on the other hand, is not only dependent on how long it is. The quality is dependent on the type of relationship that you've built. Okay? So sometimes I could have a lifelong friend and you have a friend that you just met 2 months ago. But the quality of your relationship is so much deeper and have a groundedness with it. That's better than mine. Yeah. So relationships are not only tested on the length of time, but on the quality of relationship. And in all of that, we spoke about what's your love language for you to be able to deal with each other and to deal with people in your sphere. We have to understand how that person communicates so that in turn we can communicate that back to them, and then the relationships go better. We spoke to young authors like Ajani and Miss Banis. We spoke to both of them. And in speaking to them, and also Nicole, who spoke on the other side of being an author and how you do editing and everything, and we spoke to them about how they found their voice and their style of writing and the experience and what pushed them to write it all down. And the basic thing is to share the joy and everything that's within them. A matter of giving back to society and giving back to young people about how they too can be expressive in themselves and of themselves. So, as young authors, your voice matters before you become famous. Okay? Your voice matters before you become famous. We spoke to Nave. We're talking about youth facing illness. And we also spoke there with Dr. Owen Gabriel, and who was a pediatric oncologist. We spoken to him about Nave with regards to overcoming cancer and being a cancer survivor. And we learned in that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. And we've heard that saying quite a many times, or something similar to it, about courage and absence of fear and things like that. But sometimes when we really experience it through someone tangible, we know that, yeah, that's really it. What is bravery? What is bravery? What is courage? It's not that we're not afraid. We are afraid, but we still go ahead putting one foot in front of the other, writing down one task after the other, and going through with them. We spoke also on depression during seasons like Christmas and also during the winter seasons when it's dark. And we spoke to it's okay not to feel okay during the holidays. There are a lot of people who haven't got anybody to reach out to. And a way that we can overcome that is by going out of ourselves. Sometimes we sit back and we say, well, they are not reaching out to me, but am I reaching out to them? So one way we can overcome depression and not feeling good during the holidays. I mean, depression is an illness that sometimes real depression, we misuse that word depression. And anytime someone is a little bit down, we say, oh, she's depressed. Let us not misuse that word. Depression is something very, very serious. People who are going through depression can get out of bed. They um, they neglect their self hygiene. They will stay in bed for days. They would not eat. They don't want to hear anybody, or their curtains are drawn. They stay in the dark. They just cannot communicate. That's depression. Or they're always tired and they don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. They want to see anybody. Okay. And it's in those moments that we have to observe and listen and be there and reach out. And then we say, oh, but they didn't reach out to me. They do not know how to reach out. It's our responsibility to reach out. When we hear of people unaliving themselves, suicide, we say, oh, why didn't they call me? They can't. Why didn't you reach out to them when you were not seeing them? Mm-hmm. Or somebody says, I'm going off for a bit. And you're like, okay, you know where I am. You can reach me. No, why don't you reach out? It goes this way. When people are going through a crisis, they cannot reach out. It's for us to reach out to them. And in this regard, we say it's okay not to feel okay during the holidays or during the year when you feel down. It's okay not to feel okay. And when you get through that period of time when you can actually move and do something, reach out to a therapist, reach out to someone who you feel safe with. You can reach out to your pastor, your priest, if you go to one of these religious institutions. You can reach out to a good friend, anybody you feel safe with. Share with them that I'm not feeling okay. I feel very anxious. You may not know the word for it, but say the symptoms, how you feel. A lot of times you say, how you feeling? I feel good. Good says nothing. Fine says nothing. Okay says nothing. I'm feeling anxious. You know it, you name it, then you know what to do. I'm feeling hopeless today. I'm feeling helpless today. I'm really feeling in a down mood. I'm elated today. I'm so excited. I'm feeling on top of the mood. I am exasperated. I am starving. Use descriptive words to describe how you feel so somebody may know how to help you. Okay, fine. Oh, I'm well. This say nothing. And most times they are indicative that someone is going through something. You don't have to push them, but you can ask what we call open-ended questions. So if I'm saying I'm elated, okay, oh, that's nice. What has you in that mood? You don't say, you feeling good today? That says yes or no. The person's not gonna open up to you. Ask a question that starts with one of the W's. Who, when, why, what, and how. Well, how has W at the end, but you get a picture. Yeah? So we need to be there for those who do not feel okay. And when we do not feel okay, if we cannot reach out to somebody, if we can write it and slip it under somebody's door, we can write it. If you want to text it, you can text it. However your form of communication is, do it if you are in that space and mode of mental framework to do so. And what you can also do, you can prepare something in advance. So in the email, or have a code word with a friend or somebody who you feel safe with. And then you have that code word. If you're not feeling well, you say a word like beef, beef. So not you're having beef with the person, but you're having beef with issues. And then they'll know without you saying anything else that you need help. Okay? And before we go any further, remember to like, subscribe, and to send us your comments, send us your feedbacks. What has the season meant for you and which episode stood out for you? Would really, really love to hear from you. And remember, you can also send that at the youth effect 767 at gmail.com. You can also text it to 929 803-6356. And you can also text it, send it up by making comments on whichever platform that you are looking at us today. Yeah. And we continue with morning routines. We learned about success begins before the world wakes up. How it begins to look for us. We spoke on how we relate to our children in the morning, how we will help wake them up. And I spoke about bringing breakfast in bed for my kids, and also noises that have me anxious in the morning. For me, my routine in the morning is I have to wake up and I have to listen. I have to reflect, feel where am I, taking the sounds, and do my meditation, my devotional, do my meditation. Some of you get up, you do your exercises, you drink your coffee, you do your journaling. Some of you do nothing. You just jump out of the bed and you rush into the day, and there is this adrenaline that's going on. And we shout at the kids, oh, it's time for you to get up, it's time for you to do this. You're putting yourself in an anxious mood. You're putting your kids in an anxious mood. That is not a setup for success. Not a setup for success. Okay? So you figure out what your ritual is going to be to set up yourself and your family and your young kids for success. Intentional parenting. As we say, intentional parenting, there is something that's going on about gentle parenting. And they say, oh, people are spoiling their kids. Gentle parenting is not passive parenting. These are two different things. Passive being everything just goes over your head, the children can do what they want to do. Intentional parenting is, as it would say, is being intentional about how you parent, observing your children, knowing what works for them. Again, we speak to love language. What is their love language? How do we expose them to identify what their gifts are? Because it's in identifying what their gifts are, it's going to lead them on later on to their careers, right? How do you build a relationship with your children so that you feel safe, you feel home, you are home for them, no matter where you are, that anything that happens to them, definitely you will be the first one that they will run to. Intentional parenting raises a good, wholesome person. And let me say, Frederick Douglass said, I have it right there, it is easier to build strong children than to fix a broken man. It is easier to build strong children than to fix a broken man. All right? Excuse me. So we really need to reflect deeply on these things. How do we raise our children? A child can be spoiled and can be disciplined. Discipline is not the same thing as being punished. Discipline teaches. Punishment creates anger. Two different things. Discipline helps a child to evolve. When I say, I'm going to discipline you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this away from you, and this is why. So they know why they're being punished or disciplined, and you need to do it right away. Some parents let it go for a couple of days and they say, you remember what you did 2 weeks ago? I'm taking that away from you. You have already allowed it to pass. That discipline is not going to hold. Then it becomes punishment, because the child is going to be resentful because I don't even remember what I did 2 weeks ago. Do you remember what you did 2 weeks ago that you should be disciplined for? It's not about spoiling. I know the Bible says, spare the whip and spoil the child. But it's not being about abusive. Don't use an excuse to abuse your children, because there are many, many ways to discipline without hitting too. That can even hurt more. And that comes from knowing your children and where it will hit hardest when you're disciplining them. We spoke about main character syndrome. And that means the world doesn't revolve around us, but we each have a role to play. So it's not like it's all about me kind of thing. I'm not this starring all the time because there are other people in my circle that contributes to my story. So it's not about you being the main character all the time. It's about being in community with others. And we spoke to the number of our youth in the Caribbean who experience mental health. And we spoke to cultural strength and emotional wellness can coexist. As a matter of fact, the two work together. The two have to work together because so many things are grounded in our culture, and it's the how different cultures, how cultures discipline, how cultures view mental health is all different. There are so many stigmas and biases towards mental health that we have to work really, really intentionally about overcoming it. And we spoke very seriously about where healing starts when silence ends with regards to mental health distress and substance abuse. Where does it start? How does healing start? Is when we break the silence and we forget about um being embarrassed and stuff like that. Okay? So remember, we need to give our children a safe space to be able to speak to us. And without that safe space, they cannot share what they're going through. When I shared about this young gentleman that was going through this thing, he is much better today. I have to come back and say, through prayer and through treatment, he looks very much like back to his own back to himself. But to go together, prayer and treatment. And because he took the initiative to tell us, I am not doing well. I am not doing well. I am sinking. And that led us now to help him. All right. So we have to be observant. We have to listen and don't tell children that or people that are going through an emotional distress that they just speaking nonsense or they're just being stupid. No, don't shut down people when they start telling you how they feel. Okay, listen. And the next thing should be, what can I do to help you? We have a thing that we say, we go to somewhere, we go to an outing, and people are putting things out on the table, and we say, you need help now? No, I don't need help. You cannot say I need help. Come on. If you don't want to give a yes or a no, or an obvious question, because if you ask me a question, I'll tell you, no, I'll do my stuff by myself. It's okay, I'll do it because it's obvious that I'm doing something. If you want to come and help, you would help. So somebody's going through something. How can I help you? Or what can I do to help you? What can I do to make it easier for you? Simple. You may not know. If somebody is sick and the hospital, we go, you okay? No, they're lying down on a hospital bed. They cannot be okay. What can I do to help you? Can I raise your pillow for you? Can I put a pillow underneath your feet, raise your feet? Can I get you some water? You okay just not in it at all? What can I do for you? Or suggest, would you like me to do this? Would you like me to do that? If the person cannot respond, tell them, okay, shake your head if it's a yes. And no. You would like me to put the pillow under your foot? Would you like me to help you with your arms? Would you like me to help you with something? What would you like me to help you with? Okay, probe the person by asking questions that they will give long answers to, not just a yes or no. Healing starts when silence ends. When we provide a safe space for people to share how they feel. We spoke about community voices. We invite precious guests to send, we had We had Nicole, we had Miss Plummer, Floresca Plummer, we had Dr. Gabriel, and who spoke to us on the expert side. Okay, and we had another young person, Joel. We had Joel, who's also into the space of young people and dealing with young people and coaching them and helping them come back to their center. Yeah. But let's stop there for a minute. Each of you are an expert in your field. That's the second thing you need to be writing down. The first one was, what would you title the chapter of your life? This second one is a message. What is one message you want every young person to remember based on the topics, on the conversations we had throughout the year? What would you like that young person to remember? We spoke to authors. You could speak to about a parent, you could a counselor. You could direct it to a youth advocate, an educator, a mental health professional. Okay? What would you want them to remember? Or what would you want one person? If there is one person you could direct something to, what is the message that you want that young person to get to one of the episodes? And then we had legacy conversations when I brought in my girls, and we had some lovely, lovely conversations. We spoke about reading and reading to them, and in terms of being a better parent. And when we spoke about intentional parenting, and Action was there with me, and she shared that with me. How do we do it for them? What do you want your life to stand for as a young person? And it's not too late as an older person. What do you want your life to stand for? It's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late to stand out for your values. It's never too late to walk out on situations that do not value you, but value. What are your values? What do you stand for? And if you stand out for a value, then you have to live it. It's not do as I say and not as I do. No, you have to walk the talk. Okay? You have to walk the talk. So in what you're doing, people will already know. And doing that also creates your legacy because you're leaving something behind for other people to see and to model. And in living out our values, let's look at these questions. Questions we can ask ourselves to help us pull out and figure out what our values are. Is it respect? Is it integrity? Is it communication? Is it grace? Giving grace to people? Is it, don't do general things like love. What is love? Love is an active word, right? It can be so general. So you need to be specific in what your values are. All of us probably you all have Google and things like that. All of you have ChatGPT too. Some of you. So go into one of your things. Go into the dictionary and find out what values are and what they represent, and identify what you stand for or what you would want to stand for by identifying these different things that you want to reflect in your lives. So what impact do you hope to have on one person? One person. Is it about truth? Do you want to reflect truth in everyday life? Something. What values should guide young people today? What values should guide you today? How do we stay hopeful in difficult times? When you are feeling empowered, what causes you to feel empowered? Is it your finances, your wellness, your health, your spirituality, your vocation, your career, which is your vocation? your relationships. What helps you to stay hopeful in difficult times? And what does success mean to you beyond the money? For me, in raising successful children and being a successful parent, is to be okay. Let me start to being a successful parent. For me, it means to being intentional about being that role model I want my children to see, about the life my children want to live, and always to have a conversation with them to help them to do better than I did, to learn from my mistakes. And because of that, I need to have conversations, not silence. We need to have conversations and share our stories. Share your story with your young kids. Let them understand who mommy is, who daddy is, who granny is. And they learn from that. That's where your wisdom is passed on to the young people. Other than just throwing it in some ways of anger. Oh, when I was your age. Well, times have changed. And how do we create success beyond money? For me, success beyond money, other than being a successful parent, I claim that for myself, is to have successful young people. And it's not about how much money they have in the bank. Are they intentional? Are they focused? Are they respectful? Do they have a high level of integrity? Do they know what their value is? Do they know how much they're worth? And to stand up and set their boundaries and be able to advocate for themselves. And to be able to know what direction they want to go to because they know where they came from and they know their history, they know their culture, and all of these are being supported by a village. That's what success means to me. And even though they want to go pick up garbage and be a sanitary engineer, and that makes them passionate about what they do, and it fits into their whole life story and their gifts and their talents and their passion, go get it. Because people, we are living today. We're not living for tomorrow. Today and now is the infinite moment because now is all we have. The next second is not guaranteed. Now is all we have. And how do we become those people or the people that future generations will thank? Look at all the recycling and stuff that's going on in the environment, the amount of sprays that we use, the amount of chemicals that we use, the amount of water we allow to flow when we are taking a shower and we have the water flowing, we're brushing our teeth and we have the water flowing. How involved are we in social issues? How aware are we of social issues? How much do we give back to our society? It's all those things. It's not only life is not only about getting up and going to work and running after the money. Life is about how much time you spend with your quality time, because you could spend 3 hours with your child and you're on your phone, your child is playing a video game. It doesn't count. Quality time is not the amount of time. The same thing like relationships that we spoke about. It's the quality, and it always comes back to the love language. Does that child like gifts? Excuse me. Does that child like touch? Is it spending time together? Is it sharing? You know, find out what that child's gift is and find out what that child love language is, or that other person, and how we can be role models. How we can become role models. We have another exercise for you. That's number 3. Complete this sentence. I will be remembered for blank. I will be remembered for blank. Fill it in. Imagine someone is writing your eulogy. How many people will be at your funeral? These are not things that are too awesome or gruesome to think about. And then, using that, you start to use what we did exercise a while ago in what values do I have? It's never too late to start. What value will you be remembered for? For me, I will be remembered for, I believe I have a good heart. I have a high tolerance of doing my very best in relationships, to my own detriment sometimes. And I've learned to set boundaries. But I know I'll be remembered for that. My genuine relationships with people. Because I love to love. I love to love my people. I love to love my village. And if people are close to me, they will see the other part of me where other people don't see. My fun side, my talkative side, my free side, and my caring side, and my supportive side. If you have me on your side, you have me all the way. So I believe I will be remembered for that. What would you be remembered for? I'm going to give you a little minute to think about that. Okay? What will I be remembered for? Okay, I cannot sing. Okay, I just want you to pause and reflect for a little minute. Have you all written it down yet? In so doing, we can think of the values. What will I be remembered for? And what topic could this chapter of my life be? So these are three things that we have done so far. We're going deep, 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 deep tonight. Okay, very deep. And we have a fourth one. Letter to the future. We're going to write letters to the future to ourselves. And it can go like this. Dear future me, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for surviving days when you weren't sure how. Thank you for choosing growth over comfort. Thank you for believing that setbacks were chapters and not conclusions. Thank you for the resilience to get back up on my feet and start all over again. Thank you for having faith in the Almighty that He has me in His hands just like the birds, and my needs are always taken care of. Thank you for being intentional about building your village. And thank you for continuing to write your story. I'm going to give you a few minutes, a few seconds to write your own letter. I'm going to give you a little bit of music, okay? Where you can.
We are one of the only social media marketing agencies that guarantees a million views.
Sorry.
Honestly.
I'm going to give you a little bit of music where you reflect on what would you be thankful for? What would you thank your younger self for? And what would your younger self be proud of you for today? You have a lot to thank yourself for. Remember, it's the little things. It's always the little things. Don't look for big, big stories. How you got out of bed yesterday. How you stood up for yourself. How you advocated for yourself. How you stood up for someone else. How you budgeted. How you wrote something. How you came through a situation. How you believed in yourself. How you started developing and implementing your boundaries. How you were able to let go of your past or detach from it. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because it has helped you become the person that you are. But it's using the lessons and not allowing it to define who you are. What did you do with your spouse that was different, that helped the relationship get better? Or how did you step out of an abusive relationship? How did you break the silence? What are you doing for success? For you to step into your growth and step into your success. What is this year for you? Is this year a year of mastery? Mastery of what? Is this year the year for growth? In what direction? What is the biggest situation that you ever came and that helped you have confidence in doing it another time? What do you want to be thankful for to your younger self? And you know what? You can even give your younger self a name. I have a name for my younger self. So when I'm acting up, I say, Don't worry. I give myself a name. Don't worry. I got you. Because I'm the bigger one, right? I've got the big girl's panties on. And I'm taking care of the little one, the little child inside of me who might be afraid. So thank you for being that part of you that allowed me to be courageous. Courageous in what? What did I do that I was scared of that allowed me to be brave and stand up in spite of trembling and everything else? But to be able to stand up, even though to stand, use a stick to stand on or lean on, but I stood up. What is it that you would want to be thankful for? What will you want to be remembered for? Close your eyes for a minute and imagine, just visualize you at your own funeral. How many people will fill up that pew, those pews? And what will they be saying about you? I use the opportunity while I'm alive to ask people to ask my village for feedback on the kind of person that I am to them. And I've been doing that for years. I used to do it in a book. I used to write a book, and then I lost it when I left one of the islands where I lived. But I'll never forget the lessons that my friends wrote in those things, the things that were nice about me and the things that were terrible about me. And the turning point for me was when one of my very, very close friends from high school, first form, all up to today, she doesn't remember it, but I keep on reminding her that her feedback to me was one of the things that helped me. And at that time, those who are my friends today, who were my friends back then, I appreciate them even more now, because to have stayed to be a friend with me when I was that kind of person, they are truly, truly valued. And she told me I was very anal. I'm going to leave that for you all to go figure it out. Go look it up in your dictionary. ANAL. Oh, it was either black or white for me. There was no in betweens, there were no grays. And that started helping me to think. So when people share stuff with you, sometimes it may come out as a criticism, but sit down and think about the deeper picture. What is it that they're really trying to say to you? And sometimes people can say it out of malice, but there are times the people who we love say things to us and we feel very defensive. What is the lesson? Not so much as a criticism. What is the lesson? And then we can sit down and say, I will be remembered for this. And what is the undergirding of what you will be remembered for? What are your values? What are your values? We mentioned some values: truth, honesty, integrity. What else? What other values can you think of? Hmm? We spoke about respect. What about compassion? Compassion for other people. What about grace? We mentioned grace. Empathy towards others. That's a value. Courage. Accountability. One of the 5 agreements is keep your word. I'm working very, very hard on that. It's easy for us to say, oh, I forget, and dismiss it. But if you give somebody your word about something, Do it to the best of your ability. On the weekend, I promised my daughter wanted to use the car, and I promised her I'll go get the tire fixed. And I totally forgot. And I sat down on my computer. When I sit down on the computer, I don't want to be disturbed. And she says, "Mommy, did you fix the tire?" I'm like, "No, you want to go to the garage and do it?" She says, "No. You said you would do it. I'm not doing it. I'll take the bus." I just put my tail between my legs. I changed my clothes. And I went to the garage. And I even cleaned up the car as a bonus. I don't want them to leave in a dirty car. I had not cleaned up the car and, gas in it and everything else. Because I want them to learn, if they have to keep their word, I have to keep my word to them. If we have to build trust, I have to be the leading example on building trust. I have to do what I said I was going to do, as well as clean the car and give it them too. So when they use it, they know when they give it back to me, they have to put it back, just like a rental, bring it back how you got it. You get somebody lent you something, go above and beyond to give it back to them. Don't keep people's things. It's not yours. Keep your word. Your word is your bond. Your word is your reputation, especially if you're a business person, especially if you're a teacher or a leader. People look up to you. And when you don't keep your word, you're not taken seriously, you're not respected, you're dismissed, and you're not trusted. So, can trustworthiness be one of your values? Well, then you have to be honest, be accountable, and have integrity. And what does integrity mean? Doing what you know you should do in the absence of anybody, even though you're alone. Aligning your actions with principles, and do what you know you should do when no one's watching. You have a conscience, and it's not too late to start building your conscience. One stone at a time. That's how a wall is built. One stone at a time. What about self-awareness? That's a value, because self-awareness teaches you, or helps you, guides you, not teaches you, guides you in how to feeling your emotions, feeling who you are in the present moment, and guides you in how to respond socially, helps you how to respond in any situation, personal, intimate relationships, at work. Self-awareness guides you. It guides you in terms of identifying your triggers, your biases, your privileges, because you can't fix what you can't see. In quality, one of the things we say is, you can't fix what you don't measure. You need to measure something, so you need to be aware of it so you can fix it. So these are some of the things that can go as values. Which one are you? Which one? You don't need a whole list. You can just do 4. You can just do 3. Because you can break down those 3 into so many different little things, like an action plan. Little tasks, just keep on breaking them down. This is what courage looks like. This is what integrity looks like. This is what trustworthiness looks like. This is what honesty looks like for me. And you go out there and you be that. You put it into action. You put it into action. And so then you can come back to the question we asked earlier. What message would you like to leave a young person? Let it be your legacy, your role as a mentor. That's the legacy that you're going to leave behind. It's not the money. The money is going to die. It's going to finish. It's who you are as a person, how you have helped the younger generation become into themselves and help them to grow into successful human beings. We're gonna go off now. I'm gonna leave you here for us to go into a break and to get a word for our sponsors. And in the meantime, keep on writing your letter to your future yourself, okay? Thanking your younger self for who you are now and the message that you will give to your younger person now, the message that you will leave for your younger self, as well as thanking them, the message you leave for a younger person, what lesson you like them to learn through all the things that we shared over this season, through all the episodes that we shared. And we'll be right back. Take a moment to reflect, and we'll see you soon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Presented by
Running a radio station shouldn't be chaos. It should be simple, smart, and professional. With Joan Premium, your entire week schedule is beautifully organized and easy to manage. Real-time accuracy keeps your listeners in sync with every show. Your visitors and audience sees the right schedule every time, wherever they are. They can even choose different time zones. From analytics to social media and native app integration, Joan Premium is the professional tool your station deserves. You're never alone. We provide priority support for active license users. We're building a community. Connect with broadcasters worldwide through our Joan Community Hubs. Choose your plan, annual flexibility, or lifetime freedom. Get Joan Premium today. www.gndenterprisesinc.com or call 877-698-9894 for more information.
And we're back. Thank you. And we're on our last 30 minutes. Thank you so much for being with us. And it's not too late to call up a friend to join us or to tell them that, about this program that is very helpful to you and how it has helped you to grow and how we can help the youth. So even though this is our finale episode tonight, we're coming back stronger from level to level to level in the new season in October. Yeah? And before we close our incredible season, we want to celebrate the lessons, the values, and qualities that have shown up throughout every conversation. Excuse me. These aren't awards for celebrities or influencers. These are awards for the everyday heroes among us. our children, our young authors, us as adults, we're teachers, just someone in the community, but all of us do our part in creating our village and the communities in which we live in, and making our own little space a better place to be. So for award number 1, the Courage to Begin Award, where we speak about creating your glow, the award goes to the young person who chooses growth despite self-doubt, who takes the first step even when the path isn't clear. Sorry, I thought something was there. The first award is with regards to a topic of creating your glow, to have the courage to begin. You choose to grow despite self-doubt. You take the first step even when the path isn't clear. Our reflection question on that is, where in your life do you need to begin before you feel ready? Where in your life do you need to begin before you feel ready? We always say, I will do this when I get this. I'll do this when I reach there. What point is that for you to start feeling ready? Where is your starting point? Award number 2, the Resilience Award, goes to, when we speak to you facing illness and mental health challenges, this award belongs to every young person facing battles nobody else can see. The Resilience Award belongs to every young person facing battles nobody else can see. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength is simply showing up for another day. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it is simply showing up for another day. So the question to you is, how do I show up? How do I show up for me? How do I show up for my children? How do I show up? Award number 3 goes to celebrates the power of voice to young authors and leading their story. What story are you still afraid to tell? What are you afraid to step out of your comfort zone to express? What story are you still afraid to tell? So award number 3, the Storyteller Award, goes to and celebrates the power of voice, telling your story and allowing your story to unfold. Our 4th award, the Friendship Award, honors those people who become chosen family. That's where we spoke to lifelong friendships, or let us say friendships of quality. We can stop for another minute right there. Oh, there's a lot of engagement tonight. Text the name of a friend who changed your life, or write it down on the activities that we were doing for this evening. Or text that friend. It only takes 3 seconds. A lot of times we say, oh, I didn't have time. You know, a text just takes a few seconds. When we say we haven't got time, we're telling people we really do not care about them. Because when we care about things, we take the time intentionally to pay attention to it. So someone who you honor right now, who may not be related to you by blood, but you say, that's my family, or we say, that's my sister from another mother, or that's my brother from another mother, send them a text. Let them know how much you appreciate them, how much they mean to you. If it's something you have to apologize for it. Sometimes asking for forgiveness can be so hard, but that brings a sense of humility and even brings a glue strengthening that relationship. So the Friendship Award honors those people who become chosen family. The Intentional Parent Award, number 5, goes to you. Every parent doing their best with what they know today while learning what they need for tomorrow. To intentionally grow, find the resources that can help you to be a better parent. A gentle parent, not a passive parent, not an authoritative parent, not an abusive parent, but a parent who your child feels safe with. They can run to you with anything and everything and be the first person they want to call in any situation. Do your best with what you know today while learning what you need for tomorrow. Because no child comes with a manual and every child is different. You can have 9 children and each child needs a different type of parenting. One size doesn't fit all. Perfect parents don't exist, but present parents cut it all the time. When you're present and you give your quality time, when your child starts speaking to you and you put that TV on pause, or you put down your phone and you turn it upside down, or you sit intentionally at the table having dinner and you have a conversation, don't say you ask, how was your day today? Good. What stood out for you today? What was your highest moment today? Let them talk, because sometimes you want to listen to the tone, you want to observe gestures, you want to observe eyes, you want to observe body language, because all those things tell you what the words do not tell you. The unspoken word is sometimes so much more important than what is said. You may not be perfect. None of us is. But when you're present with your child, that means everything. That means everything. For half an hour, give your child or your spouse or whoever you have in your life undivided attention. Just sit down and bask in each other's presence. Award number 6, the Hope Award, HOPE, the Hope Award. When we speak about Christmas depression and mental health distress and substance use recovery, yes, the Hope Award. This award belongs to every person who kept going when giving up seemed easier. Every person who kept going when giving up seemed easier. And the Support Award will be for those who reached out first to help someone who might be going through a moment. And let's just reflect and just sit back and think of, at this time, a lot of our children are going through graduation. There's a lot of graduations going on. Exam results are coming up. Results for promotions are coming up. And there are some children that, quote unquote, did not pass because of our level of expectations that we have put on. And we can be very hard on our children and say, why didn't you do this? How couldn't you get that? What did you do to help them to get it? Did you just tell them, go in their books? Did you sit down with them for 5 minutes, even though you do not understand? Because no, they teach totally different. 5 plus 5 nowadays is not straightforward 10. You have to go all kind of a way to prove a 10. Okay? You may not know how to do the work, but you can just sit down and give them some level of support. Okay? And let them know that their best is all they should put in it and nothing less than their best. And their best is enough for you. Sometimes children grow up saying, my best was never enough for my parent. My best was never enough. I was never good enough. No, let's give each person a right to be a person. Stand in the gap for them and hold that space for them. The person who may be depressed, the person who may be feeling disappointed, they feel sad because they didn't meet some level of expectation. The Hope Award goes out to them because they kept going when giving up seemed easier. It's very easy to give up, yeah? But it's very difficult to keep pushing through. And that's what makes success in terms of famous people and stuff like that. You know, success doesn't come overnight. We see that celebrity out there, but how many times we do not know how many times they failed, or we do not know how many times they fell down and came back up. So a lot of them lived in their cars before they were able to make it. Yeah, so think about that for a moment. Award number 7 goes to the Future Builder Award. When we speak about Caribbean youth mental health and youth leadership, this award goes out to young people choosing to become solutions instead of spectators. You know, standing by the wayside and say, but why she don't do that now? Why she cannot do that now? A lot of people who give advice, they have never tried it before. So don't get caught up in taking advice from people who haven't done it themselves. Because they do not know the road, they do not know the path, they cannot give you any advice. But for some who walked the lonely road, or the lonely path, I can't remember how it is, but the path less taken, that's it. The road less taken. This Future Builder Award goes out to all of those youth choosing to become solutions instead of spectators, choosing to be part of the solution other than being part of the black crabs who pull down each other in the barrel, instead of being the gossipers standing on the wayside doing nothing and just bringing down others with our words. But the young people and the adults as well who choose to stand up in spite of, to be the solutions to situations in their lives or situations in the society, but to stand out and just be. So there you have it. We have 7 awards. Where would you place yourself? And what award would you give to your child, your children, your niece, your nephew, your cousins, your friend's daughters, your friend's son, or that student in your class? Don't let the first thing you say to a child be a negative thing. Compliment them on something good. And then we speak about, we can improve in that other aspect. We don't say you can do better. We say we can improve there. And then the next question is, how do you believe you can improve? And the next question would be, what do you think it is? The next question would be, how may I help you improve? What support can I be for you? We all have a part to play in it. Okay? And then as we're going down to our last 10 minutes, let's talk about a time capsule. If we could place one message from this season into a time capsule and open it in 10 years from now, what would it be? So from all what we spoke about tonight and all the recap we've been doing, from all the lessons and everything, and even from our awards, what is one lesson would you take with you? That's another exercise. Write it down on a little piece of paper and fold it up and put it in something. Write the date and say when you're going to open it. There was so many lessons for me. One that stood out was Nave in overcoming cancer. And we'll be working on something. How can we help other people? How can we be a role model in times of our own illnesses? How we can stand up and be for other people. He was so bright and confident and positive at such a young age to have gone through that. So that one really touched me. That one really, really touched me. And in that I can summarize it, that lesson, as your circumstances are not your destiny. You can rise above them. You know, we say our circumstances make us who we are. To some extent, we can learn the lessons to help us to develop and grow. It also doesn't define us. Okay, if we come from a poor family, we're not going to stay and wallow and be pitiful and make ourselves feel like a victim. We have to rise above that. Let it be that strength or that wind that guides us in doing better and rising up above those particular circumstances. Your circumstances are not your destiny. They do not define you. You define yourself because you're creating your own story. Remember, you are creating your own story. So it's not because that happened to you, it's going to have to keep on playing a role in your life. If you're being intentional, you can change that script. There is always a new page to turn. Always another part of the story. Your chapter can end now and you can start another chapter tomorrow, the next minute. Because it's you creating your life. You creating your life. Of course, when you do that, in understanding what your purpose is and being aligned with your purpose and your will God has for you, oh, there is nothing better than that. There's no greater feeling than that. And then everything falls in place for you. Everything falls in place. I can be a testament to that. All right? Things fall in place when you are on purpose, when you are intentional and you're in alignment. Another lesson that could come from all of this as well is ask for help sooner rather than later. Healing is not a weakness. Healing is strength. Friendship is a form of medicine. Be intentional with your time. Your voice matters. Your voice matters. And before we go, we do something what we call the benediction. You know, like when you go to church and they give the closing. This is our benediction for our finale, our season finale. Let's take one final journey together. We're going back a little to what we did with the activity with the young version of ourselves. So we're going to think about the young version of ourselves. Now you can close your eyes and just think about it. The one who doubted, the one who doubted, the one who worried, the one who felt unseen, the one who wondered if things would ever get better. Now think about who you are today. You survived things you thought would break you. You learned lessons you never expected to learn. You discovered strengths you didn't know existed. Most importantly, you're still here. We are still here, standing strong. You are still here. This season, we talked about glow, friendship, healing, leadership, parenting, resilience, mental health, success, purpose, and hope. But perhaps all these 16 episodes were really teaching us one thing. Life is not about becoming someone else. Life is about becoming more fully yourself. In what we say, be true to you, be true to yourself. So, wherever you are tonight, wherever you are tonight, keep growing, keep healing, keep asking questions, keep loving, definitely keep showing up, keep turning pages because the story isn't over. In fact, some of our best chapters haven't even been written yet. I can't wait for the next moment. Next moment. For when we're intentional, we create the next moment. We think before we speak. We respond without reacting. Think first what our words are going to say or what they are going to do, what bridge they're going to build. Okay? What bridge they're going to build. And as we come down to our last 3 minutes, on behalf of the Youth Effect family, TDN, I want to say TDN Network, a big thank you for making this season possible. Thank you to you, our guests, for being there with us. Sometimes we do recordings, we play back some things sometimes. Thank you for being there also through that and asking what happened. Thank you for that. That strengthens me and encourages me to go on. Thank you to our parents for being there, for learning, for being open to new ways of parenting and new ways of being intentional in your parenting. Thank you to our educators, to our community partners, and most importantly, last but not least, thank you to our young people who remind us every day that the future is not something we wait for. It is something we create. Remember, you're looking at us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and SB Radio. And, you can send us some stars. Send us some stars to show that you enjoy what we present to you. And you can also give your ideas for what you like to see in season 3 by emailing the Youth Effect 767 at gmail.com. Again, it is the Youth Effect 767 at gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you all in season 3, better, stronger, and more empowering too. Thank you for sitting us with it. Okay, it is something we create. That's the future. We create it every moment of our lives. I want to say good night, good growth, good hope. We'll see you next season. Remember, be unapologetically youth and be undeniably powerful. Create your glue, write your story, lead with purpose, and leave a legacy. Thank you so much. And I'm Kathy Robinson saying, your host, saying good night and have a great summer. Thank you.
Yeah, Wooden Men's, we back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight, got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in the youth effect. We're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Create, initiate, push through, no limits. Go ahead and live it up. Respect, positivity, you on your way. Break down walls, build bridges.